Africa that were once under Roman control. In the United States, the Founding Fathers may have relied more on British common law than on Roman law in crafting the American legal system, but they looked to the Roman Republic as a model of representative government, naming part of that government, the Senate, after its Roman prototype, Senatus. The linguistic, legal, and political resonance of ancient Rome is matched by its ongoing religious influence. The deathbed conversion of Emperor Constantine, who reigned from 306 to 337 CE, aided the spread of Christianity throughout the empire, assuring the establishment of the Holy Roman Catholic and Apostolic Church. Add to all this the achievements of Roman architecture and engineering, the roads, the aqueducts, the sewers, that have had a lasting influence on the built environment of so many cities, and the question quite reasonably arises, what kind of decadence is this, really? The question arises because decay, it turns out, is oddly generative. The historical decline of Rome ultimately seems less like decadence and more like progress because of the many social and cultural developments that ensued in the wake of both the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. Rome not only remains the paradigm of decadence, it also provides the pattern for the inevitable linkage of decline and renewal. But this pattern becomes a paradox in the modern era. Historical decline and renewal, social decay and regeneration, artistic decadence and avant-gardism appear increasingly interrelated. In fact, modernity itself seems to call for a decadent response of one kind or another, so much so that decadence today may perhaps best be understood as the aesthetic expression of a conflicted attitude toward modernity. Decadence and modernity are not precisely contemporary with one another, but if we think of modernity as the vast complex of social, political, and technological transformations that emerged in the early 19th century, decadence, or the perception thereof, was not far behind. The conflicted sense of modernity that decadence describes arises first and most clearly in 19th century France. The English word decadence derives from French décadence, an etymological fact that might serve as a capsule description of a much broader cultural development. In the modern era, just about every manifestation of decadence owes its origins, either directly or indirectly, to a loosely affiliated group of artists and writers who lived and worked in Paris. French decadence should really be called Parisian decadence, because decadence is deeply urbanist. The philosopher Walter Benjamin famously termed Paris the capital of the 19th century, since for him the city illustrated, better than most, the social and demographic trends that constitute modernity: the mass migration of people from the country to the town, the growth of consumer culture, the advent of new technologies in transportation, architecture, infrastructure, and many more developments that we take for granted today. The proponents of modernity interpret its effects as progress, and indeed it is the case that most of the changes in the built environment that Louis Napoleon contemplated and that Baron Huysmans executed in Paris during the Second Empire, 1852 to 1870, improved the lives of its citizens. Sanitation and transportation are two obvious areas of improvement. But not everyone experienced this new urban modernity as progress. Those who didn't regarded progress itself as decadence. The accelerated rhythm of modernity, the up-tempo cadence of daily life was, for some, decadence. The one author who best expressed the conflicted attitude toward modernity in 19th century Paris was Charles Baudelaire, 1821 to 1867. In an essay on Edgar Allan Poe, Baudelaire called progress that great heresy of decline, and regarded it as nothing more than an idiot's delight. What Huysmans called improvements, Poe